Hi, I'm Jen Rollins with One Focus Property Management. I'm a property manager and landlord educator in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and I'm here with just a little tip today. I've had the same question asked of me 3 times in the last 2 days, and I thought I'd pop on here and make a quick video because clearly people are interested. So the question I'm being asked is, should I be doing month-to-month leases for new tenants or for renewals because eviction moratoriums are restricting my ability to enforce my lease, right? I can't count on being able to evict a tenant if they're not complying. And so I want to be able to terminate this lease as a means to protect myself. In short, you do not have to watch this whole answer. That answer is no. I do not think you should be doing month to month leases. Now, first, let's talk about why this strategy makes sense and why you're hearing people suggest it. So, you're hearing this because it feels like a shortcut or a workaround to eviction. And I hear different landlords. Now, often these are going to be people who are unable or unwilling to select qualified tenants, or also unable or unknowing about the eviction process. So they love the idea that if something's going wrong with this rental property, they can just terminate this lease with 30 days notice and the problem's over. And they feel like that protects them. I'll share with you that is not really how it works in reality. And so, why don't I think this is a good idea, right? So, in general, you understand why I don't think so. I think we should be focusing on qualified tenants and discipline management. That's what's going to be most profitable, best for the landlord, and best for the tenant. Now, why, though, during these special circumstances like these eviction moratoriums, do I not think this is a good idea? Well, one, in order to get the flexibility for you, the tenant, to end the lease, you have to give that same flexibility to the tenant. And so the upside versus downside risk, I think it's a higher downside risk that the tenant would leave before a year, which is really costly. You go to the turnover investment, you make the property nice, you advertise, you vet, you spend your time finding tenants, and then you move them in and they only spend, 3 months, say. And so that's not a good return on your investment. You really should be securing longer commitments from your tenants in order to make the investments make sense. Now, if you're charging month to month premiums on your month to month rents, getting higher rates for that flexibility and shorter term, that's a different story. Okay, so now you see that I think, giving the same flexibility to the tenant is a bigger downside than upside risk. Here's also why I don't think it'll work. The first moratoriums that came out, and we have been subject to, I think, 4 different moratoriums here in North Central Pennsylvania since the beginning of the pandemic. Um, the first ones that came out already accounted for this strategy and strictly prohibited terminating the lease for any reason during the moratorium. So that right was taken away. Didn't matter if you had a month to month lease or not, you couldn't terminate it. Now, as the pandemic has progressed, these moratoriums have gotten less restrictive, and the one that we're currently subject to here in North Central Pennsylvania is the nationwide CDC eviction moratorium, which requires that the tenants meet a list of qualifiers, income, different things about their situation, plus be making partial and timely payments to the landlord in order to prevent being evicted for non payment. And so, um, that it would feel like in a month to month lease situation, you were getting around it. But I'll share just one more piece of information. This order is very vague. And because the order is very vague, our local district magistrates, who are responsible for making these decisions when these landlord tenant complaints are heard, are keeping in the spirit of the moratorium, which is to say, they're very conscious of a month to month renewal strategy or a month to month leasing strategy. And they're going to be very conscious that if you do have a tenant who is covered by this by this order, and you're trying to terminate the lease, that is not going to go in your favor. And I believe will cause a pretty big mess for you if you attempt to do that. So, what do I think you should be doing? I think you should be selecting qualified tenants using a fact based, objective, fair process. Okay. And you can see ours if you want to go to onefocuspm.com and go to application instructions. You can view what I think is a process that meets those standards. I think you need to be managing your properties in a disciplined way, which means if you make payment plans, you do it in writing, which means you acknowledge things in writing. We don't do a lot over text. All different tips I'll probably share with you another day. And let me just, I had to check my notes. The last thing is stay informed on these moratoriums. I talked to landlords. I just talked to a realtor 2 days ago who had no idea what eviction moratoriums we were subject to right now, what the true nature of them were. And and so I would say stay informed and make sure you know your rights and you know the rights of the tenants so that you're not getting yourself into a pickle. Well, listen, it's just the beginning of 2021. I hope you're excited and getting ready for a great year. We are at One Focus, and I just thought I'd hop on and share this answer since so many people are asking. All right, have a great day. Bye.